was a queen. She lived in Queens.
Hi lovelies, welcome to Melanated Crowns. I'm Queen Lovely. So today I wanted to come on here and have a conversation. This conversation may be heavy. I am going to be talking about things that may, trigger you. There was a black woman assaulted in Harlem at the liquor store for respectfully declining the request of some black men who were offering to buy her wine. And it got really nasty and it got really vicious to the point where one of her eyes, she still is unable to open it because they tried to literally bite her eyeball out of her socket. We've also had an incident here in New York City where two women were pushed on the tracks, and there was a mom who was killed by her 22-year-old son after a dispute went far left when she was asking that he gets a job. So I am going to be talking about violence against black women. I'm also going to be talking about generational dysfunction that we participate in that plays a part in why this violence comes against us. This is for intelligent people. This conversation is for intelligent people, and this conversation is for people who have emotional intelligence. So if you don't have enough emotional intelligence, enough range, enough tenor to engage this conversation with an open mind, I'm just going to do you a favor right now and tell you to click off. Don't even sit through it, because one thing we don't do over here on Melanated Crowns is play victim. I'm all about helping black women obtain and sustain mental, emotional, and spiritual wellness. And the gateway to achieve that and keep that is accountability. To be able to hold yourself accountable through moments of introspections and to have other people hold you accountable as well. And we're going to have a big conversation about that. First and foremost, I was talking to my therapist about this, and she was very upset because she has two sons. And she was telling me how, she's going to write a book about how she loves her two black sons so much. She's going to write a book in a way in which things that she's teaching him, not feeling entitled to someone's energy, not feeling entitled to someone's ashe, asking, may I please give you a hug? Or may I please shake your hand? Or can I touch your hair? Instead of just doing it and having to be checked and then apologizing later. Consent, instilling these things in her boys from a very young age. And I've really just been pondering on these topics. Like, clearly we know that the breakdown when it comes to black boys and black young men and black grown men who behave in a way that is violent towards women, whether it's sexual violence, physical violence, verbal violence, financial abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse, we know that the breakdown is clearly they don't know no better. They were not taught. They are dealing with unhealed and unresolved and unchecked trauma themselves. But how does that come about? How do they get to a space where they are left to fend for themselves, and as a result, they grow up to be monsters? They grow up to be predators. They grow up to be abusers. So all I could do is pull from personal experiences in my life. I'm one of 5 kids. I have 3 older brothers. One passed away from sickle cell disease, and I have 1 younger brother. Okay? And I think back to our family dynamics, how, my mother was the head of the household. She was the head of the household. Even though she was a stay-at-home mom because she got sick, she still had the responsibility of waking us up for school, getting us ready for school, walking us to school, cooking, cleaning, scheduling our doctor's appointments, right? And I didn't even know that she was dealing with her own mental and emotional trauma from things that have happened to her way before I was even a thought, when she was a teenager, when she was my age at the age of 25, and so on and so forth. So imagine being a single mother of sorts, right, to your children. And on top of having to work 2 to 3 jobs to keep a roof over their head and to make sure they got food to eat and clothes on their back, you also got to be their nurturer. Sometimes you got to be their friend. Sometimes you got to be their mentor. I'm not a mom, but as someone who has worked with kids and someone who has been around a lot of women who have experienced motherhood, it's a 24/7 never-ending job. And I feel like the breakdown happens because if there is no man in the house, okay, you are already battling with that thing of one day my son is going to enter young manhood. And there's going to be things that he's going to need. There's going to be questions that he's going to ask. And because I am a woman and I don't know what it's like to be a black man in America, I don't know what it's like to be a black boy in America, I'm not going to have all the answers. You know what I mean? And on top of already grappling with that, you have to deal with the fact that you're going to have to explain to this young boy time and time again why the man who fathered him chooses to show up every once in a while, or why the man who fathered him is like an ATM. He doesn't emotionally support this boy. He don't show up to his basketball games, his football games, but when there's a check that needs to be written or some money that needs to be Cash App or Western Union, then he appears for a short period of time. These are things that could weigh on someone's psyche. And when you are dealing with all of that as a single mom, a single black mom, you already getting docked. I don't even know, what is it, 64 cents or whatever it is on the dollar. You're not being paid and treated equally as you go out into the world. And this is not me making excuses. This is just me being realistic. You don't really have time when you see your sons behaving in certain ways that could be deemed predatory, abusive, unhealthy, toxic, to check them every which way. By the time you get home, you check their homework, you sign their permission slips. If your child is a problem child, you know, you give them the talk, which they don't listen, you cook, you clean. You just want to take that 30 to 45 minutes that you're going to be up because you dead fucking tired for yourself, and then you go to sleep and you do the shit all over again, all over again, all over again. And if you're lucky to have a regular 9-to-5 job that pays, what, $45,000 to $50,000 a year, and you off on the weekends, you just want to be left the fuck alone. See, I don't have kids, but like I said, working with kids, being a nanny, and being surrounded by mothers, I can empathize and sympathize with the single motherhood, whether it's 1 kid, 2 kids, or 3 kids. And once again, I am not making excuses. I'm just painting the realistic picture. So now we jump ahead 19, 20, 21 years later, and your son and his peers are in the liquor store harassing a black woman who's gotten off of work. She just wants a bottle of wine. She probably had a rough day. And because your son offered to buy her a bottle of wine and she declined, he felt entitled to physically attack her and traumatize her. This is something that's going to follow this woman for the rest of her life. It's on the news. It's a big publicized story, and then it happened to her. And then she's going to have to explain. She's probably going to have some conversations with her daughter before she planned to, about protection and self-preservation and what it's like to be a woman in this patriarchal and misogynistic society, and what it's like to be a black woman. So now you're kind of fucking up the innocence of a child, because that's what happens. That's how our innocence gets stripped from us, because we experience firsthand or secondhand traumatic events that need to be explained and broken down to us before we should even have to deal with that. And this is a picture of why are black women so rough? And why are black women so tough? And why can't they just be docile and feminine? Because from very early ages, we are being subconsciously programmed from firsthand and secondhand traumatic experiences of violence and abuse and hypersexuality and hypermasculinity, that's the only way to protect ourselves. Do you not understand that our inability to be feminine and to be delicate is a byproduct of the men's inability to properly hold up our community the way that they are supposed to and lead and protect us? Do you not understand that? And then, to the accountability of black women, I'm going to need y'all to get some discernment. I'm going to need y'all to tap into your intuition. I'm going to need y'all to build a relationship with your higher self, with God, with the divine, the universe, whatever you call it, and vet these niggas properly. Vet these niggas properly. You always going to have ain't shit niggas. You always going to have ain't shit niggas. But some of y'all intentionally lay down with these ain't shit niggas and procreate. And then they go off and you're left. Like I said, you working 2 jobs. You trying to raise your kids, maintain your sanity, and deal with your unsolved and unresolved trauma that you have from your childhood. I get it. It's not that you purposely raising ain't shit kids. You're just doing the best that you could. But you wouldn't feel strained and pulled apart if you had proper support there. And you could have that proper support there if you make it your intentional decision to choose better and learn better and then apply it so that you can do better. I'm on the neighborhood talk and you got Bianca from Love and Hip Hop talking about select and protect single black mothers. And I'm just sitting here like, boo, you was on TV. You was making however $1,000 per episode. You was rapping, you was rubbing shoulders with people, and you chose to blow that opportunity and throw drinks. And the last time I seen you on Love and Hip Hop, you were intentionally pursuing a man who was in a relationship, and you was bragging about how you was going to take this woman's man the Harlem way. And the reason why you were showing up like that and acting like that is because you were broken. So now jump ahead, she hasn't been on Love and Hip Hop for a while, but now she has a child with an absentee father. So now we just going to continue the generational dysfunction. And this is what I'm talking about. And granted, we all make choices. We all make mistakes. But that's a straw man argument when your choices and mistakes set off a domino effect of chaos and dysfunction and catastrophe. It's just ridiculous. Same thing with Summer Walker. And see, what happens is, and shout out to Euphoria, that episode with Rue when she sat in the diner with Holly or whatever his name was, the Christmas episode, and he was saying like, you're an addict. And she was like, the girl Zendaya plays was like, yeah, I know I'm a piece of shit. And he's like, yeah, you a piece of shit, but I'm not going to let you get off that easy. Because what happens is, people will automatically act like they're taking accountability. I'm wrong. I'm a piece of shit. I'm a thief. I'm an abuser. I'm this, I'm that. But if you don't actually sit in it and allow yourself to feel the shame, the disgust, the nastiness of the way in which you're showing up and how it's affecting you and others around you, you're not going to feel a push to change that behavior and evolve past that. You're just going to get comfortable and listen, I'm a lost cause. But when you being a lost cause is affecting your children and people around you, it is your responsibility to do better. And it's like with Summer Walker, my father wasn't shit, my grandfather wasn't shit, and now my child's father's not going to be shit. Okay, that's cool, whatever. You're right. But you need to forgive yourself for intentionally participating in that so that that child can have a chance. So that you're not, because I don't know if Summer's having a boy or girl, but so that you are not continuing the dysfunction by already pouring that into your child as he's in your womb, who he or she. We need to do a better job at holding ourselves accountable. I am all for taking the weight off of Black women. I am all for taking the sole blame and responsibility to fix the Black community off the Black woman. But if we're going to take some of that away, we have to replace it with empathy and accountability. Because yeah, it's cute to divest in men, defund men, Black dusties. Like, yeah, that's all cute and whatnot. But if we are not actually learning, living, and applying to do better for the generations coming after us, then what's the point? This is a senseless movement of level up and high value and hypergamy and femininity. If in here, you're still not changed and evolved and ascended. I'm just disgusted, completely disgusted. with all of this that's going on. There needs to be accountability. I'm not waiting for no black man for me to do better for myself and the young ladies that's coming behind me and generations to come. I'm not doing it. And I'm also not going to spend time doing think pieces and whatnot on what black men need. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. We will do better if we focus on our individual selves. And as we hit milestones and accomplish and grow and graduate from lessons, pay it forward by helping those who want to be helped. Leave those who don't want to be helped alone. Let them fight amongst themselves. Focus on those that really want to change and be held accountable. It's just disgusting. I'm really disgusted. And I'm just tired of it. I'm really just tired of it. So that's it. I don't want this to be too long-winded. Let me know what you think below. What are some suggestive approaches, solutions, steps that we can take to do better as a collective? I'm done.